What if I told you that for over 2 decades, darts legends have been screaming warnings at us about the sport's biggest problems, and we ignored every single one until it was almost too late? While fans cheered and cameras rolled, these champions were desperately trying to tell us something was terribly wrong. They saw the cracks forming.
Keep it there.
They felt the pressure building. They watched careers crumble. But here's the twist nobody realized at the time. The warnings didn't come from critics or journalists. They came from the very legends who built this sport. And their predictions? They all came true. Today I'm going to show you exactly how 4 darts legends tried to save their sport from destruction.
Honestly, that double 16 there, I could not believe it didn't go in. It was literally, I had a couple of shots in that whole game where it was so close that wall, I'm just like...
Why we didn't listen, and what finally changed everything. This isn't just about missed opportunities, this is about human cost. When legends speak, they're not just sharing opinions, they're sharing survival guides written in their own scars. The darts world we see today, with its packed arenas and million-pound prize funds, nearly collapsed under the weight of problems these legends saw coming years in advance. And the most tragic part? Every warning they gave us came with a simple solution. We just weren't ready to listen. The first legend to sound the alarm was Wayne Hawaii 501 Mardle. But his warning wasn't delivered in a press conference or interview, it was written in his own breakdown. From 2001 to 2008, Mardle reached 5 World Championship semi-finals.
That first dart in the treble and just up, that's a good first dart, just hit the barrel. Now tops for a draw. Oh! You win!
He was climbing, consistent, charismatic. Fans expected a final flourish, a world title to crown his career. Instead, he vanished from elite competition before turning 40. In his memoir, published while still competing, Mardle wrote words that should have shaken the sport. "I was fraught with pressure. I don't want to be that pressurized ever again. I absolutely hated it." He described tour life as a relentless treadmill. Weeks of travel, long-haul flights, jet lag, media obligations and tournaments stacked one after the other like falling dominoes. But the most chilling warning came about the Premier League. It really does consume a whole week. It's absolutely killed some players. It's destroyed their confidence. In 2009, while ranked in the world's top 6, Mardle contracted glandular fever. A simple virus became career-ending. He couldn't walk or stand for months. When he returned, the fire was gone. I became quite timid. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have the fight or will to win. Back then, talking about burnout in darts was career suicide. If you struggled, you were either lazy or weak. Mardle's warnings were dismissed as excuses.
Turned up and I beat him in the final. It's worked in my favour, this. Now he has to deal with him on a regular basis.
Fast forward to 2024, world number 1 Luke Humphries echoed Mardle's words almost exactly. After playing 11 tournaments in just 3 months, I felt emotionless. Playing had become a chore. Gerwyn Price backed him. There's too much darts at the moment. Even 18-year-old Luke Littler confirmed the travel is brutal. Flights, trains, hotels, and then back on the road again. Mardle, now a pundit, watched this unfold and reflected, the brutal thing is the travel. What once made me look like a complainer was now a shared truth. The second warning came from Andy the Viking Fordham, but unlike Mardle's written words, Fordham's warning was written in his own body. In 2004, Fordham won the BDO World Championship. The press dubbed him the pub hero. Fans celebrated his image, darts in one hand, drink in the other. He played along, joking that his match prep involved 25 bottles of lager and 6 steak and kidney pies. But behind the laughs was a desperate cry for help. I was an alcoholic. I thought I was in control, but I wasn't. Fordham weighed over 30 stone. He drank daily, ate poorly, never exercised. For years it was all part of the legend. Less than a year after his world title, the warning became reality. Fordham collapsed mid-match against Phil Taylor in a televised showdown. He overheated, couldn't breathe, couldn't focus. He had to walk off stage. Tests revealed 75% of his liver was non-functional. His chest was filling with fluid. His lungs were being crushed. Phil Taylor gave it to him straight. Change your lifestyle or it will cost you your life. Fordham tried. After another collapse at Lakeside in 2007, he went sober. He lost over 16 stone. For a time, redemption seemed possible, but the damage was done. Years of excess had left scars that couldn't be undone. In July 2021, Andy Fordham died of major organ failure. He was just 59. Fordham's death sparked a reckoning. The PDC had already banned alcohol on stage by the mid-2000s, but his passing turned policy into priority. The image of the pint-chugging darts pro began to fade. Players started talking openly about fitness, diet, wellness. Phil Taylor slimmed down. Young pros turned to trainers. Fordham didn't give lectures. He lived the warning and died from it. His story became the sport's wake-up call. The third legend to warn us was James the Machine Wade, but his warning came in the form of radical honesty about something darts had never discussed: mental health. Wade didn't just hint at struggles, he named them: bipolar disorder, panic attacks, the invisible battles that could destroy careers as surely as any physical injury. Wade became the first major darts player to openly discuss mental health diagnosis and treatment. He spoke about medication, therapy, the daily management of his condition. "People think because you're successful you can't have problems," Wade explained, "but success doesn't cure mental illness." Wade's openness initially made him a target. Some fans mocked his struggles. Critics questioned his commitment. The sport wasn't ready for such vulnerability. But Wade persisted, showing that mental health management wasn't weakness, it was strength. Wade's career longevity became his vindication. While other players burned out or faded away, Wade adapted, evolved, and continued competing at the highest level well into his 40s. Wade's pioneering honesty paved the way for others. When Luke Humphries stepped away in 2019 due to panic attacks, nobody laughed, everyone listened. Michael van Gerwen spoke openly about confidence slumps. Gerwyn Price discussed pressure management. Mental health was finally on the agenda, and Wade had shown the way.
Oh, why does he have to come in on double 16, Wayne?
Yes.
You can have a perfect 10.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to do those?
The fourth and most recent warning came from Gerwyn the Iceman Price. His message was simple but revolutionary. Fans had crossed the line from support to sabotage. For years, Price endured relentless booing, jeering, and personal attacks from crowds. Critics said he brought it on himself, that he was a pantomime villain. But Price knew it was more than entertainment. It was harassment. At the 2023 World Championship, Price walked on stage wearing something never seen in darts before: industrial ear defenders, big, bright, noise-cancelling headphones. After his quarterfinal loss, he wrote on Instagram, "So frustrating I wasn't allowed to play. Not sure I will ever play in this event again." He wiped his social media clean. This wasn't post-match disappointment, this was heartbreak. Initially, the PDC responded with indifference. The atmosphere is part of the event. All players are well used to it. Translation: deal with it. But others weren't silent. Johnny Clayton fired back. "The crowd are dead out of order. Why pay good money to put someone off?" Colin Lloyd stepped in. "It has crossed the line. Show him a bit of respect." By 2024, change was underway. When Luke Littler and Luke Humphries were bombarded with whistles and boos in a Premier League final, the PDC issued a public warning. Disruptive behaviour will not be tolerated. Offenders could be ejected. Referees were instructed to halt play when necessary.
In some ways, I think Wayne, his reaction and why he got better is it's instinctual. His instinctual reaction as a darts player.
Yes.
Price's protest, those iconic headphones, wasn't about blocking out noise, it was about being heard. Here's what these legends taught us. Warnings aren't complaints, they're roadmaps to survival. Every problem they identified had a solution. Burnout, balanced schedules and mandatory rest periods. Health crises, wellness programs and lifestyle support. Mental health, open dialogue and professional resources. Crowd abuse, clear boundaries and enforcement. The sport that ignored these warnings nearly lost its greatest talents. The sport that finally listened is stronger than ever. Today's darts world, with its player welfare programs, mental health support and crowd conduct policies, exists because legends were brave enough to speak up and wise enough to keep speaking until someone listened. The lesson? When legends warn us, they're not trying to tear down the sport they love, they're trying to save it. And sometimes, the most important victories happen off the oche. But if you thought these warnings were powerful, wait until you see what actually tore darts in two. In our next video, we're diving into the biggest conflict in darts history, when 16 players risked everything to defy the system. Bans, court battles, and the split that nearly destroyed the sport from the inside. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you're first to see Darts Wars, the split that nearly destroyed darts. This isn't just history. It's the moment darts became the sport we know today.